don't take advice from people unless I'm willing to trade my life with them. Majority of people don't believe in themselves.
Yeah,
the majority
true.
of people take their dreams to the grave. Starting to build a really close relationship with God. And recently I got this message from him. Don't do business with people that don't believe in God.
Reina, welcome to the Feminine Ledger, the space where we as women step into our financial power and build wealth our way. And this is where we keep it real, raw, and inspiring, because talking about money shouldn't be stressful. It should actually be empowering. And I'm your host, Denise Edwards, and we are live from the Move Miami for another powerful conversation. And what's the Feminine Ledger actually all about? It's about owning our financial power and doing money, success, and legacy building on our own terms. We focus on aspects such as money journeys, so the wins, the struggles, the surprises. We focus on financial lessons, what worked, what didn't work, and the changes in between, and also legacy building, how we're creating wealth that actually lasts for generations. And today's guest, a high-performance coach, best-selling author, and international speaker. With a mission to elevate and empower, she continues to shape the entrepreneurial landscape through dynamic events, masterminds, and cutting-edge business strategies. Melitsa Waage, welcome to the Feminine Ledger. Hey, Melitsa, how are you?
Hello. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for
I made it.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I know you're always busy. I did want to obviously invite you here because we are at the Feminine Ledger. And first of all, how was your morning? Is the question.
My morning was great. I feel everything is in perfect timing.
Yes.
I know I got here a little bit late, but traffic in Miami is crazy.
It is.
Even though if you prepare.
It is.
But my normal routine, woke up for morning prayer this morning at 4:50 in the morning.
Oh, nice.
Have you joined the prayer group yet?
I have. Yes.
And that's always special. I feel like it's just the best way to start my morning with God.
100%.
So setting that intention and communicating and praying with another 120 people that show up on the call, it's just awesome, And then started preparing myself, answered some emails, and started getting ready to come here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, starting the morning off with God for me is number one.
Yes.
Number one for sure. It just kind of like, I guess pins you. I don't know what the name is, but it like grounds you more. So
100%. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel off when I don't do that.
Same. I have it through the day, morning, evening, and then through the day. Anyway, for the audience that doesn't know you, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. So my name is Melitsa Waage. I'm the founder of Epic Talks. I'm an author and keynote speaker, and I am here to help people take their businesses and their lives to the next level. My book is called Detoxify Your Mind, how to take your mindset to elevate every area of your life. And I'm just here to spread positivity throughout the world and connect people with the right people so they can elevate their lives and step into their greatness.
Amazing. And maybe, because I'm always curious, right? Like, how did you come to the fact that you want to kind of like spread what you're spreading? Like, what's kind of like the common theme? Where did it start?
So for those of you that don't know what Epic Talks is an entrepreneurship event that happens every single month in Miami. And we bring different speakers that have created massive success in different topics like real estate investing, wholesaling, AI, social media marketing, ads and automation, taxes. And the reason I created this is because I wasn't finding what I was looking for. I was going to networking events and leaving unfulfilled.
Yeah.
And, very basic conversations. And here's my business card if you need this. Here's my business card if you need that.
Yeah.
So I remember at the time I was thinking to myself, I'm not finding what I'm looking for, especially because I'm very into personal development and emotional intelligence. And at the time, I wasn't finding that here in Miami. That was like 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I wanted to move to LA because that's where all the speakers were, Tim Story, Lewis Howes, Alexi Panos, Preston Smiles, all these amazing speakers. And I was walking over the bridge in Brickell and I thought to myself, I was like, well, if it doesn't exist, I'm going to create it.
Nice.
And I did. And from the moment that I had my first idea, well, I believe that God planted that seed in me because he knows that I would follow through with it, right? So I'm a huge believer that God doesn't give you a vision you can't execute. So if you have an idea, go with it.
Yeah.
Don't ask for permission. Just run with it. Oh my God, I get this idea. Don't be like, Mom, do you think I should do this? Dad, you should. Your best friend? No. You had that idea for a reason. Majority of people don't believe in themselves.
Yeah,
and majority
true.
of people take their dreams to the grave. You know what I mean?
True.
Don't be one of those people. That's why when I have an idea, I never share it with people. And I never like tell them, hey, what do you think about this? I just run with it. So from the moment I thought of it, the seed was planted to the moment I had my first event was only 3 days.
Oh, that's wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So success loves speed, right?
100%.
So I thought to myself, I'm like, I've never spoken on a stage. I've never shared my story in public, but I'm going to do it. And I remember, since I had done so much work in the personal development space, I said, I get to help people heal themselves too. Because the reason why I got into personal development is because I was in one of the darkest moments of my life after a divorce.
Okay.
And I lost myself for like 2 years. And then I wasn't proud of the woman I had become after that divorce because I was so broken.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember going to the mirror one time and I asked myself, are you proud of the woman you become? And I said, no. So what are you going to do about it? And it was in those days that I saw an ad on Facebook that said, reignite your life, your finances, your future, free ticket. And I was like, free ticket? This must be a cult. Like, it's like, because anything that's free, I don't think people respect, you know? So I got into personal development. I made it my religion. I ended up getting a ticket to that event, and that just changed my life. So I said, if this changed my life, how can I share this message forward to help people change their lives? So that's when, I thought of Epic Talks, and I reached out to a girlfriend of mine, Alicia Bolchenko. She's an attorney, and she used to be a professor at the University of Miami as a law professor, and I said, Alicia, I'm thinking about throwing this event. What do you think about, speaking, since you're so used to speaking to students? And she goes, okay. She thought I was just BSing, right? And then I took a picture of her, took a picture of mine. I went on Canva, put this little flyer together, and I printed out 100 copies, went to FedEx Kinko's, and I just passed them around everywhere where I lived, downtown Miami, Brickell. I rented a ballroom. I went to a Whole Foods, got some wine, cheese, crackers, and then got some chairs and tables and waited.
So this was super simple,
super
simple,
not like what you see now.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been to Epic Talks. It's amazing, by the way. So
yeah, so it was like super simple, and then I was like waiting and waiting. 15 people showed up to my first event. So I was like, even if it would have been one person, still. But guess what? 8 of those were my friends, So it's important to have that tribe that believes in you, and important to have that tribe that supports you,
Yeah.
And I remember I was sharing my story. I was a foster child. I was born into heroin addicted parents. I went into the foster care system at the age of 3. I've been homeless. I lived out of my car outside of a Walmart parking lot.
Wow.
And in high school, I was kicked out of high school and told by my principal that I was just another Latina statistic who would never amount to anything. Wow. So for me, that was fuel to my fire. Yeah. Right. I've always been the kind of woman where you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to show you I could do it. And so that's pretty much how Epic Talks started. So what I did, I started reaching out to other influencers like Jason Stone, Millionaire Mentor, Andres Ospina, Luis Escobar. And I was like, hey guys, I have this idea. Do you guys want to become speakers? And they were like, yeah. So my second event had 120 people. Because we were just like, we were crushing it, promoting it, you know, telling everybody. And then that's how Epic Talks evolved. And now it is what it is. Yeah.
Super.
And this is only the beginning. I'm not even where I want to be yet, and people think that success is immediate. No, Rome wasn't built in one day. The pyramids weren't built in one day. Like, it takes years and years and years, and it didn't become a real business until like 3 years ago. Okay. The first 2.5 years, like, I was in medical sales at the time. And I was trying to figure out, my tickets were free. You know what I mean? I was trying to figure out how do I do this, And it wasn't until I hired a business coach, James Melinchek, who happens to be the #1 entrepreneur business coach, sales master. in the country. I'm a true believer in that. So it wasn't until I hired him that I was able to take my business.
Okay, nice. And that was 2.5 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2.5, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you share your earliest memories of money and how that actually shaped your financial habits?
Yes. So I have a really cool story, actually. I remember I asked my dad for a quarter one time. I think I was like 9 years old. So I could get like a popsicle.
Okay.
And in Puerto Rico, because I was going to school in Puerto Rico, they sell what you call limber. You know what limber is?
No.
So it's
a different name.
It's ice cube, and they put the flavoring on it.
Oh, yes.
But in Puerto Rico, they make it different than anywhere else. It's delicious. And we were at the bank. That's why I asked him. My dad took me to the side, and he started writing all the bills. I went to private school, so my shoes, my books, my uniform, the rent, and then I was a foster child, so I was the extra child, you know? So he was basically showing me like, you know, this is all of our like expenses. And I had 2 sisters, right? And then my little brother, my older brother, that they also got him from foster care, you know? So he was just showing me all the bills, and he goes, this is why I can't give you a quarter. A quarter.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, okay. I think that was the best lesson my dad could have ever done. Because he goes, I won't give you a quarter, but what I will do, I'm going to let you borrow $15. Okay? And he took me to a chocolate company where they would sell chocolate boxes for $15, but it had 30 chocolates in that box.
Okay.
So I could go and make a $15 profit if I sold the chocolate for $1.
It. Okay.
So he goes, you're going to sell the chocolate box. And he goes, you're going to pay me back my $15. You're going to go back to that store and buy your own box and then start making your own money. That was the best lesson that I could have ever gotten from a father, from my dad, David Velez. And it makes me want to cry. So I remember I was in a gymnastics team, and we had a trip that was coming up.
Yeah.
And it was in the summer, and I started going to different colleges because he was a professor at a university, and I was trying to sell to the students, but even the students didn't even have $1 sometimes, you know, and they wanted help. So he dropped me off in different campuses where he knew I would be safe, you know? Yeah. And I remember sitting in a classroom one time just crying because I couldn't sell a freaking chocolate the entire day. But that just created resilience. That created grit. You know, I remember just getting up, and I was like, cleaning my tears and just, let's go. You know what I mean? And just like this inspiration to want for me to continue fighting for what I want. You know what I mean? So he never gave me the money, but I made it, and I was able to make that trip. That gymnastics trip. So,
and how did do you know where that grit came from? Is that something natural for you, or was it maybe circumstances that just took that out of you? Where do you think it came from, actually? Or is it maybe your character?
Well, I think characters are formed, and I believe that it came from me being a foster child. My parents were heroin addicts. And this might be impossible to understand or believe, but I remember those days when I was 3.
Okay.
Where my parents were high on dope, where I would open the fridge because I had my brother who was 1.5 or 2 years older than me, and my little sister was 9 months. And I would open the fridge and there was no food. I remember when the cops came in, raiding the apartment, taking us and running with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of trauma there. So when there's trauma, you remember, even though I was 3.5, whatever. And I just always never felt safe, you know?
Yeah.
But I do remember with me not feeling safe, I would come up with ways of protecting myself and getting away with things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And knowing and reading and really like, I wasn't like that kid, like, hi, and talking no, I was just like, I would see somebody or a man, I would be
analyzing them.
You know what I mean? Analyzing, yeah. So I think because of my background, which I'm so grateful for, you know, I'm a true believer that you're not victims of your circumstances, you're victors.
Yeah.
You know, so I always share this story from a place of empowerment, you know, that to use your pain to elevate others and elevate yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I feel like because of my background, I was able to build this character and I am who I am today because of it.
Nice. And how did you kind of like, did you know when you were younger that you were going to do this, what you're doing now? Or what was kind of like your mindset growing up? Like, okay, when I'm, I don't know, this age, I want to do this. How was that for you?
I always had in mind like that I wanted to be a doctor. My childhood best friend, Katia Miller, she's in Puerto Rico, but she's a doctor now. Okay. But I know if I would have stayed in Puerto Rico, I would have like gone with her because she and I were always competing in sports, volleyball, gymnastics, like you name it.
Nice.
But then I also knew that I didn't like people telling me what to do.
I think we're similar in that.
So
I think we're similar in that, yes.
Explains me leaving my house at 15 years old, and I've pretty much gotten fired from every job I've had. So yeah, I didn't know that I was going to be doing this, what I'm doing today, but I knew I was meant for greatness.
Yeah.
And that I was going to do whatever it takes to get to the next level, whatever it takes to create the life that I want. Because I'm a true believer that with God, we're the director of our own story.
100%.
You know, we get to choose, we get to say who, we get to say when, we get to say what, right? And I just knew I wasn't meant to have a boss. Yeah.
We're similar in that part because for me it's also like, and I was in corporate for sure. Like I did the whole corporate thing. I got my master's, you know, like the whole trajectory. But I do still feel like for me it's important to have my own path. And so this is where we're definitely on the same wavelength. Like it's so important. And again, God obviously at the center of it. But I think for women it's so important to kind of like pave your own way, right? So yeah, we're definitely alike. So you talked about your dad and him teaching you that lesson, right, on finances, but how was like finances just in your family life growing up? How was that talked about at all? How did that?
I was always told that money doesn't grow on trees and that save your money, which I think is the worst advice ever. Yeah. Even now, like, my family still has that mindset, you know? Yeah. But I don't, you know? So I'm a true believer that you need to get mentors. If this wasn't implemented into your life, get mentors that have the success that you want, have the money that you want, have the houses, the cars, everything. Invest in yourself. And I ended up investing in myself. I sold my house. I think I was 30 years old, and I sold my house, made a lot on it, and I took that money and invested in myself. I hired coaches. I started a medical career. Like I invested in people that where I want to be, you know? And I still have mentors, and it never stops. You never stop learning and growing. So for me, the secret to success is hiring the right people that are going to help you get to that next level. Because you can't do it on your own, especially if you didn't have a family that was giving you the advice for you to level up. I don't take advice from people. Yeah. I say this often. I don't take advice from people unless I'm willing to trade my life with them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So don't take a relationship advice from somebody that is not in a relationship. Yeah. Don't take financial advice from somebody that is not a multi-millionaire or billionaire, you know? Don't take advice from people that are not living in according to your alignment.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I agree completely. Like saving and investing, those are two different things. And especially as an entrepreneur, I mean, I say a junior entrepreneur, so what I've learned is like, you have to invest in yourself consistently, because if not, then again, you have competition, but again, you want to grow, you want to consistently grow. And so, sometimes saving is not there. Some things it's just investing till you get to that point of where you can save enough. So
100%.
Okay. So I am curious to know financial setbacks. As entrepreneurs, we We've all had those, right? What's kind of like the biggest financial setback that, you can maybe talk about? And what did you learn from that?
Financial setback that I can talk about. Trusting people. Trusting people with the wrong opportunities.
Interesting. Tell me more about that. That's interesting.
So, I don't know if I want to get too deep into it, but, people will promise a big game to you and until they get what they need from you. And once they get what they need from you, they don't deliver on their promise.
Yeah.
So if there's anything I could say about that is when you're going into business with someone, you get that contract signed. You get that NDA. You get that, hey, this is on paper. This is our agreement. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I can't even begin to explain to you how much money I have lost because it's like a blessing and a curse that I love people so much and I just trust boldly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, oh, we meet each other. Yeah. Like I'm so loving and friendly and I care for people because I'm a true believer that when you are living in a place of abundance, and I live in abundance in every area of my life with friendships, with, how I treat people, with how I talk to people, with myself, when you're living in a place of abundance, people tend to take advantage of that too.
If they don't live in abundance either, that's
exactly.
Yeah.
So just really vetting the people that you're doing business with because that's where I've lost the most money. Interesting.
And that's more kind of like in partnerships or going together in a business with that person.
That's in everything.
Okay.
Even in relationships, personal relationships, romantic relationships,
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. And how has your mindset around money evolved over the last couple of years? I know that you mentioned that you invest a lot in yourself, which is, as an entrepreneur, it's I think the number one thing. But what are other things that, have evolved mindset-wise on the financial side for you?
So if you have a mindset of abundance, the money is going to come.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to grow to where you want to be. Obviously, there's always going to be setbacks.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a good example with Epic Talks. I've never run ads. I have never done a big marketing campaign. I have never hired any speakers. I've never paid for a speaker. And I have some of the top speakers in the country on my stage that get paid 40, 50, 60,000 to be on other stages, right? And what that's allowed me to do is build a community of trust and also make more money because of it. But why? Because I believe in my platform. I believe in my community. I believe in the people that show up. So when you're believing in yourself, when you're believing in your product, that's going to create abundance, in every area with the people and how you make money.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I've had a lot of setbacks growing my business. It hasn't always been rainbows and butterflies, right? But I don't let that stop me. Because without those setbacks, I can get to the next level.
100%. And if you look at your younger self in Puerto Rico, right? And if you could give your older self one piece of advice, it could be financial, it could be anything. What would you say to your older self?
As my younger self, what would I say to my older self? Don't trust people so easily. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just because of all the setbacks with being in business with people.
There's going to be times where you're going to be very disappointed, and the people that disappoint you the most are people that you're closest to.
Yeah.
So for me now, I'm starting to build a really close relationship with God.
Yeah.
And recently I got this message from him, and it was don't do business with people that don't believe in God.
I understand.
If I would have taken that into my former marriage, if I would have taken that into my last relationship, and if I would have just put God at the center of my life from the beginning, I wouldn't have experienced all those heartbreaks. But so now I'm intentional with my friendships. I'm intentional with the people I do business with. I mean, if you see at my next event that's coming up, every single man there on my stage is a man of faith.
Amazing.
So let's share the gospel. Let's share community. Let's share the power of Jesus Christ, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still 100% agree. I'm like, this is amazing. So for kind of like your next, I guess the next few years, right? What's kind of like on Melitsa's plan, and what are the goals that you're wanting to have achieved, let's say in 3 to 5 years? I know it's a very cliche question, but I definitely want to know this.
My husband and my 3 babies.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yes. I want to I'm ready for a man of faith. I'm ready to build my legacy, my family. And I'm ready to be in love and just build a beautiful family.
Aww.
Yeah.
I love that.
But for business, I really want Epic Talks to be the nonstop shop for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Where whatever you're looking for, when you're an entrepreneur, you need help with everything, right?
100%.
You need help with marketing, ads, automations, taxes. You want to invest in real estate. You want to invest in different companies. You need AI.
Yeah.
So when you're coming to my platform, all the companies that are part of my platform are companies that you can trust, that have been vetted by myself and my, board of directors, that when you go there, you can trust them. And one of the reasons why I've lost so much money since I came into entrepreneurship was because I was hiring people that I didn't even know and giving them money when I shouldn't have been giving them money. And they promised this and didn't deliver. So that's not going to happen when you come to Epic Talks with the people that you meet there and the people that are on our roster.
Nice. And for the audience, like, what's kind of like your target audience for Epic Talks? Is it just entrepreneurs, or do you have like a specific segment of entrepreneurs, for example?
We have people from all walks of life, entrepreneurs, people that are, some of them are 9-to-5ers, it's very few, but I've had 9-to-5ers actually quit their jobs because of Epic Talks, and they started their own businesses and they've become successful at it, right? Yeah. That's a smaller portion of the people that attend, but a lot of our audience are already successful entrepreneurs that are looking for connections, collaborations, and to network with other like-minded individuals, and they want to also expand. They want to get on stages, which Epic Talks gives you that opportunity, and then I tell them about other events that are happening, so they attend those events, So I would say, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs that are attending our events, especially the speakers. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for just being here, Melitsa, and obviously, sharing your story. Is there maybe one, I guess, piece of advice that you would like to share with the audience who are women, female entrepreneurs, for example, that maybe, want to get to that next level, or maybe even 9-to-5ers that want to get to the next level?
Well, number 1, put God at the center of your life. That is
100%.
like non-negotiable. Number 2, if you're looking to get into entrepreneurship, find yourself a mentor that has been there, done that, and follow their blueprint. Number 3, make sure you're really vetting the people that you come across. Their businesses, their have conversations that ask the right questions. Like, what are you most excited about? What are passion projects that you're looking forward to? Who are you supporting? Who are you helping? Make sure it's not people that just want to take you out for happy hour and, let's go out in the weekends and let's party, have fun. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to elevate you. So your circle is what's going to define where you're going to be in the next year or so.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melitsa, again.
Yes. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
What would you say you need the most support with right now with, I think I'm the first female on your podcast. So thank you for this honor.
The first even guest, by the way.
First guest, female. Yeah. So How can I support you in your mission right now?
I think for me, I think the mentorship is one thing that I am searching actually for somebody that can, show me a bit more the way, because I've tried to, I'm doing it myself, but again, I think when you're at a certain stage, and I call myself a junior entrepreneur because I'm maybe like 5 years full time now. And I want to get to that next stage. And I think a great mentor would be super helpful for me to be like, hey, listen, Denise, this is like the stage that you're at. You want to get to the next stage. This is what you need to do. And I think that's kind of like the biggest thing for me now.
Gotcha. So guidance.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Perfect. I wanted to know because I think it's important. And that's also another secret that I have on how to build relationships is asking another person, how can I support you the best?
Definitely. And I appreciate that. 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. What an incredible conversation. I hope this episode sparked something in you, whether it's new perspectives, a reminder of your power, or just, the motivation to keep building wealth your way. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about money. It's about creating a life that feels right for you and aligned for you. So breaking old cycles and fully stepping into your power. If this episode resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Share your favorite moment on social media with our social handle at The Feminine Ledger, and make sure you're subscribed and send this to another Reina who needs to hear this. Thanks for being a part of The Feminine Ledger, where we do money, success, and life on our own terms. Until the next time, keep owning your power and making moves that matter.